Ereshkigal. Some gods rule the dead because they were placed there, others because they were trapped there. Ereshkigal belongs to the second kind. She serves as the primary goddess of the Mesopotamian underworld, called Kur or Irkalla, a desolate realm located deep beneath the earth where the souls of the dead exist in perpetual gloom. This land is depicted as a vast, dusty plain enclosed by 7 fortified gates, each guarded by a porter who enforces strict entry protocols. The deceased, upon arrival, are stripped of their possessions and live a shadowy existence, feeding on dust and clay while drinking from murky water far removed from the vitality of the living world above. Ereshkigal's origins trace back to Sumerian traditions around 3000 BCE, where she's portrayed as the daughter of Anu, the sky god, and sister to Inanna, goddess of love and war. One myth suggests that she was carried away to the underworld by the primordial force Kur, binding her permanently to this domain. In many traditions, she exists as the sovereign of the underworld from the earliest myths, embodying the inevitable and unwelcome aspect of mortality. This role isolates her completely from the upper gods. She can't ascend to participate in divine assemblies or feasts in the heavens, as the boundary between the living world and the underworld cannot be crossed. Her isolation highlights the Mesopotamian view of death as irrevocable separation, where even deities associated with it remain confined. Ereshkigal's rule is absolute, ruling the dead and maintaining order amid the silence, sometimes associated with a stern, winged figure with lion companions and bird talons, shielding authority over demons and the Gala enforcers. Hel. Sometimes the gods banish someone not for what they've done, but for what prophecy says they will become. This is Hel's story. The Norse goddess of the underworld is the daughter of the trickster god Loki and the giantess Angerboda. Born with a monstrous appearance, half living flesh and half corpse-like blue-black, she poses a future threat according to prophecies. Odin, the All-Father and ruler of Asgard, acts preemptively to neutralize dangers foretold in the Ragnarok prophecies. He casts Hel far from the divine realms, hurling her into Niflheim, the ancient world of ice, mist, and primordial cold located at the northern roots of the world tree Yggdrasil. Upon arrival, Hel receives authority over a vast, frozen domain that becomes known as Hel, her own name. This underworld houses those who die of old age, sickness, or misfortune rather than inglorious battle. These souls, denied entry to Valhalla, dwell in bleak halls surrounded by high walls and guarded gates, enduring a shadowy, joyless existence. Hel rules from her throne in this isolated realm, served by attendants and overseeing the countless shades. Her domain lies beyond insurmountable barriers, including the roaring river Gjoll, crossed by a golden bridge, marking a difficult boundary between Asgard and the living world of Midgard. Odin's banishment confines her to this realm, and the upper gods interact with her only through rare journeys or messengers. Her eternal exile reflects Norse beliefs in fate and the segregation of death, where even divine beings tied to mortality remain confined forever in the cold depths. Erlik. Some rulers of the underworld were not assigned their realm. They were cast down into its depths after defying the gods above. Erlik is one of the clearest examples. He appears in Turkic and Siberian shamanic mythologies as a powerful spirit closely associated with the supreme sky god Ulgan, sometimes identified with Bai-Urgen in related traditions. Initially, Ulgan tasks Erlik with helping shape the world, such as diving into the primordial waters to retrieve Earth for land formation. However, Erlik grows arrogant, claiming equality with his creator and secretly keeping some mud to form his own domain. In some versions of the mythology, he spits into the water to corrupt creation or tempts early humans into sin, introducing death and evil. Enraged by this rebellion, Ulgan banishes Erlik permanently to the lowest depths of the earth, stripping him of light and assigning him dominion over the underworld. This subterranean realm consists of multiple dark layers filled with mud, smoke, and tormenting spirits, often depicted with iron palaces and rivers of tears. Erlik establishes his throne there, surrounded by demonic subordinates described as dark spirits said to gather the souls of the dead. From this exile, Erlik rules with eternal malice, ruling over the dead, inflicting punishments, and sending plagues or misfortunes to the surface world as revenge. His banishment confines him to the lower world, opposed to the upper realms of the sky gods. This permanent separation reflects the dualistic themes in these cultures, contrasting benevolent creation above with destructive forces confined below, where Erlik's spite alone sustains the cycle of suffering and death for humanity. Hades. Unlike many gods of death, Hades didn't even rebel, die, or fall into the underworld. He received it through a cosmic draw of lots. Hades becomes the ruler of the Greek underworld following the Titanomachy, the Great War where the Olympian gods defeated the Titans. After their victory, the three brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, divide the cosmos by drawing lots. Zeus claims the sky and becomes king of the gods. Poseidon takes the sea and earthquakes, while Hades draws the lot of the underworld, the darkest and most distant realm. This domain, also called Hades, or the House of Hades, is a vast subterranean world of mist, darkness, and silence, located far below the earth. This realm includes regions like Tartarus for divine prisoners and the most extreme punishments. It also has the Elysian Fields for the heroic dead and the Asphodel Meadows for ordinary souls. Hades resides in a gloomy palace there, surrounded by shades and guarded by the three-headed dog Cerberus at the gates. Unlike his brothers who freely roam and influence the world above, Hades remains almost entirely within his realm, myths rarely showing him leaving it, aside from episodes like the abduction of Persephone. The lot system here emphasizes impartiality in divine division, but it assigns him the most distant and shadowed portion of the cosmos. Myths portray him as stern, not evil, yet he's still feared and avoided by both gods and mortals. His isolation stems from the nature of death itself, irrevocable and separate from life. He rarely attends Olympian feasts or participates in divine councils, as his presence would bring the chill of death. Persephone's seasonal visits provide brief relief, but his rule remains eternal and solitary in the depths. This division by lot underscores themes of fate and cosmic order in Greek mythology, where even gods are subject to chance and predetermined roles. Osiris. Most rulers of the dead didn't even begin as death gods. Osiris began as a living king of Egypt, son of Geb and Nut, teaching humanity agriculture, law, and civilization during a golden age of prosperity. However, his brother Set grew jealous of Osiris's power and popularity, and in a carefully planned murder, Set tricks Osiris into lying inside a beautifully crafted chest during a banquet. He then seals it shut and casts the coffin into the Nile, killing him. The chest then drifts to Byblos, where it then becomes encased in a tamarisk tree. Later on, Set discovers the body again, dismembers it into many pieces, often said to be exactly 14, and scatters them across Egypt to prevent his resurrection. Isis, Osiris's devoted wife and sister, searches tirelessly, reassembles the pieces with magic, although the phallus is lost and replaced, and she uses powerful spells to briefly revive him. But because he's passed fully into the realm of the dead, Osiris can't fully return to rule the living world. Instead, he descends permanently to the Duat, the vast Egyptian underworld filled with caverns, rivers of fire, and judgment halls. There, he becomes the lord and judge of the dead, presiding over the weighing of hearts against the feather of Ma'at to determine eternal fate. This transformation exiles Osiris forever from the sunlit throne of Egypt. He no longer walks among the living as a king. His domain is one of gloom, mummification, and eternal judgment. Nergal. In one Mesopotamian myth, the ruler of the underworld is not born into power, it is seized through confrontation. Nergal, the Mesopotamian god of war, plague, summer heat, and destruction, appears among the major Mesopotamian gods and is sometimes described as a son of Enlil and Ninlil. His permanent tie to the underworld begins with an incident at a divine banquet in the heavens. A lot of divine banquets up there. Ereshkigal, queen of Kur, sends her vizier, Namtar, as a proxy to collect her share of the feast. When Namtar arrives, all of the gods rise in respect except for Nergal, who refuses to bow, either out of arrogance or disregard for the underworld's authority. For this dastardly affront, Ereshkigal demands Nergal's death. Instead, the wise god Ea advises Nergal to descend armed with 7 or 14 demons for protection. Nergal storms through the 7 gates of Kur, overpowering each guardian until he reaches Ereshkigal's throne room. He seizes her by the hair, drags her down, and prepares to kill her. Ereshkigal pleads for her life, offering marriage and shared rule over the underworld instead. Nergal accepts, becoming her consort and co-ruler of Irkalla. Though some texts allow him occasional ascents to bring seasonal war, drought, or plague to the surface, his primary residence and authority shift permanently to the depths alongside Ereshkigal. This binding confines him in the dusty, gloomy realm, isolated from heavenly assemblies and the vibrant upper world. I'm sure they don't necessarily miss him there. This marriage enforces the cosmic balance, pairing destruction with death while ensuring both deities remain separated below, rarely appearing among the gods of the upper world. Mictlantecuhtli. In Aztec belief, reaching the ruler of death isn't immediate. It takes years of trials before a soul finally arrives. Mictlantecuhtli reigns as the primary lord of Mictlan, the Aztec underworld, a vast 9-layered realm located deep beneath the earth. It's a direction associated with death and cold. Each layer presents grueling trials, rivers of blood, clashing mountains, arrow storms, and beast attacks. Souls of ordinary dead must endure this over 4 years before reaching the deepest 9th level, where the soul reaches its final rest. Mictlantecuhtli and his consort, Mictlantecuhtli, dwell in this final, darkest pit inside of a windowless house of bone and dust. Depicted as a skeletal figure with a human skull head adorned with owl feathers, bone ear spools, and a necklace of human eyeballs, he embodies decay and dissolution. His aggressive posture, flayed skin, and liver dangling from his chest emphasize his role as collector and guardian of bones. Unlike warrior souls who accompany the sun, or women who die in childbirth and join solar deities, most Aztecs end in Mictlan under his rule. Mictlantecuhtli is locked far from the vibrant upper world and the celestial gods of sun, rain, and maize. Myths rarely show him leaving this realm, and he's usually encountered by gods who descend into Mictlan, enforced by the underworld's remote geography and impenetrable barriers. Tuoni. Some death gods were never banished at all. They simply exist because death itself must exist. Tuoni represents that idea and personifies death itself in Finnish Kalevala mythology and related folklore, ruling over Tuonela, the gloomy underworld realm of silence, mist, and eternal stillness. Tuonela lies far from the land of the living, separated from there by the wide black river of Tuoni. Its river is deep, swift, and impossible to cross without aid. This river teems with dark currents, dangers, and whirlpools, ensuring no soul returns once ferried across. Tuoni resides in this remote domain with his wife, Tuonitar, and their numerous offspring, including daughters who embody diseases and sons who spread suffering. Their home is a dark island or hall amid the misty waters, where the dead exist as pale, shadowy ghosts, stripped of vitality and memory of life above. No feasts, songs, or warmth penetrate this space, only quiet decay prevails. Unlike many underworld rulers with explicit banishment tales, Tuoni's rule stems from the inherent structure of the cosmos. He's placed there from the earliest traditions as the necessary counterpart to life. His domain deliberately remote and barricaded to maintain the irreversible boundary between living and dead. Heroes like Vainamoinen may briefly visit through magic, but even they must flee before entrapment. If you enjoyed the mythology of these death gods, check out the next story on screen because it's just as unbelievable and just as part of human history. So check that out and we'll see you there.